you can't get rid of the Babadook. If you're a really clever one and you know what it is to see, then you can make friends with a special one, a friend of you and me.
It isn't real. It isn't real.
Well, hello, mate. Welcome back. That is about as far as I'm going to go with the Australian accent. So, welcome to The Psychologist is in.
What can I do, Foster?
Mix. Mix, Finn, mix.
I am your
Be silent!
In this episode, we are going to be discussing the 2014 case, The Babadook. It is written and directed by Jennifer Kent. The movie stars Essie Davis as Amelia and Noah Weissman as Sam. A little therapy note, Jennifer Kent wrote and directed a short called Monster, which is the source material for The Babadook. What do our characters deal with? Depression, grief, and autism spectrum disorder. Amelia is a single mother who is working in a retirement home to help raise her son, Sam. Amelia has been consumed with the grief of the loss of her husband, who died in a tragic car accident when he was taking her to the hospital to deliver Sam. Amelia, though having carrying a facade that everything is okay, has let the grief of the loss of her husband start to consume her, and this grief has created a depression. You see the depression play out throughout the movie. When Amelia gets in bed at night and starts to wake up later in the morning, sun comes up, she hides under her covers. In other instances, you see her sitting in the living room watching TV until the sun comes up in a trance state. Sam, her son, has started to show some erratic behavior. He has become obsessed with a monster that might possibly come for her mother. Some of the behaviors are starting to take a toll on Amelia. In Sam's behaviors, obsession, and erratic behavior, the tantrums, he is displaying some of the signs of children who have autism spectrum disorder. Things take a twist for the family when Sam finds a book on the shelf called Mr. Babadook. As Amelia starts reading the book, it starts to become disturbing to the point she stops reading the book to Sam and proceeds to read him a different book. In this scene, you see Sam on her lap, crying uncontrollably as she is trying to read him a different book. Sam's behavior around his cousin and aunt cause a rift between Amelia and her sister. Amelia starts to become even further isolated once she is cut off from her sister, who doesn't want to be around Sam. This isolation is what slowly starts sending both Amelia and Sam down a downward spiral that brings Mr. Babadook to the house. Sam's obsession with Mr. Babadook begins to take its toll on Amelia. He will not stop talking about Mr. Babadook and is telling her that he's going to come. It is the appearance of this book and Mr. Babadook that is what makes this movie both psychological and horror. But ultimately, for me, I decided between one of the two. You see, as Amelia's depression and isolation continues to go further and further, she becomes susceptible to the Babadook and eventually is taken over by the Babadook, leaving Sam, who has been practicing to defend his mother, having to now take on his mother. As with other movies for this series, I don't go too much into detail in the movie itself because we are here to find out if it's horror or psychological. What is the diagnosis of this movie? This is horror, with the supernatural element that is on top of the grief and depression, the psychological. The Babadook himself is what makes this movie a horror, because the other horror that is displayed in this movie is what single mothers go through who are dealing with a special needs child. Their child becomes isolated from other children for the way that they are treated, and this leaves both the mother and child to basically be each other's support system, and causes the isolation that some of these mothers can go through when other individuals do not want to be around them or their child because their child has special needs. Another horror here is the fact that when a child is undiagnosed, other children will start treating him like he is strange, weird, and you will see what happens with Sam in this movie. This can be very exasperating for a parent as well as a child. I'm going to recommend you watch this movie. I will be honest, the first time I saw it, I wasn't a fan. Rewatching it a couple times to do this, I actually grew to appreciate this movie. It is a well-written movie. Essie Davis does an amazing job. So again, this one is a horror. The presence of supernatural in the form of the Babadook, the possession of Amelia, and I'm not going to reveal what happens at the end. Watch the movie for yourself. Again, make this movie a horror movie. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Join me for the next one. It was requested by a viewer. I'm going to be doing The Exorcist 3. Until then, cheers! The Psychologist is out.